This week at the movies, love is in the air. Or is that smog?
I hope it's love. Julia Roberts, Jennifer Garner, and Ashton Kutcher star in Valentine's Day, just in time for Valentine's Day.
Love is the only shocking act left on the planet.
Also coming up this week,
Do you believe in curses?
Old Monsters, New Tricks. It's the latest screen incarnation of The Wolfman, starring Benicio del Toro, Anthony Hopkins, and Emily Blunt.
There's nowhere safe on heaven and earth for him now.
The latest movie with a really long title, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. Is it the next Harry Potter?
Plus, does Jeff Bridges really have a lock on the Oscar for Best Actor, or will there be an upset? The Oscar countdown is on, and it's your chance to outpick the critics.
Valentine's Day is about anger, disappointment, love,
romance, mating,
Discretion.
Berkeley,
Commitment.
I love it. I love hype.
A who's who of Hollywood stars gets romantic in Valentine's Day. I'm Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm A.O. Scott of the New York Times.
A lot to cover. Remember how the romantic comedy Love Actually, which was billed as the ultimate romantic comedy, managed to employ half of Britain's best-known actors in its mosaic of love? Well, the new jumbo-sized rom-com Valentine's Day, directed by Gary Marshall, makes Love Actually look like a monologue. Set in Los Angeles, this is basically Crash with hearts and flowers. It's Valentine's Day, biggest day of the year for the florist played by Ashton Kutcher, who's just proposed to Jessica Alba.
Really?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
The florist's best friend is a school teacher, played by Jennifer Garner, who's having an affair with the doctor, played by Patrick Dempsey. He's still married to his wife, though Garner does not know it.
I'm only going to San Francisco for one night.
Couldn't somebody else do it just tonight?
No, I'm the best. If it's any consolation, when I'm fixing his heart, you can hold mine.
Jamie Foxx is a TV sportscaster who gets to know the PR agent of a pro football player. The Flack is played by Jessica Biel, whose muscle tone really stands out in a flabby screenplay.
It's my fault. I'm alone. I'm neurotic to the nth degree. I don't have time to work on myself because I'm too busy fixing everyone else.
right?
My closest relationship is with my BlackBerry.
Right.
And oh my God, we have so many more characters to get to. Julia Roberts and Bradley Cooper as seatmates on a flight to L.A. Topher Grace, Anne Hathaway, Shirley MacLaine, Hector Elizondo, Queen Latifah. It's easier listing who is not in Valentine's Day. Now, I liked a lot of the people on screen, and hanging out with these people 30, 40 seconds at a time before we fly off to another part of L.A. may be enough for audiences, but have we seen it all before? Yes. I just wish Valentine's Day had more wit to go with all those hearts and flowers. I say skip it. Tony?
Oh, I say rent it. You know,
Why? Why?
Well, because, you know, you don't have to run out and see this on Valentine's Day, but if it's September or October and you're sort of feeling bored and lonely and sorry for yourself, it's a nice pick-me-up. And you didn't mention the historic importance of this film, which is that it features a breakthrough acting work by Taylor Swift, the pop diva. Check her out.
But then one night I was brushing out my hair when I got home, and I found this spit wad, but it was really a note, and it said, "What's up?" And I was like, that is so cute. And then I liked it.
Taylor Swift's kind of funny and charming, and a lot of the performers are.
Not bad. You know, yeah, there are people you can enjoy here, but I just feel like if this is the bar for romantic comedy, it is not good enough. It is not good enough.
The bar is much lower than this. That's the thing. I mean, we've talked about what? When in Rome, Leap Year. Did you hear about the Morgans? This is better than those movies. Now, I'm not defending it. I'm not saying this is
and it means nothing.
It's better than these, partly because you don't spend enough time with any one or two of these people to get completely sick of them and annoyed by them. It just keeps you moving. It's a very glib, shallow movie, but it keeps you moving around enough that you can actually have a good time. And I did. I liked Shirley MacLaine, Hector Elizondo. I mean, I think there was. Let
me just say, I like the resumes of all these people. I just don't like the script of this film.
You are a cold-hearted man.
No, I'm waiting for the good one. But stick around, because later in the show, we'll give you some Valentine's Day DVD picks we can actually defend.
Okay, moving on. He's an ordinary kid who discovers extraordinary powers and gets drawn into a supernatural battle. Harry Potter? No, but the makers of our next film won't be too upset if it reminds you of that very profitable young wizard. It's Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, based on a popular fantasy novel. It's directed by Chris Columbus, who brought the first 2 Potter books to the big screen. Percy Jackson, played by Logan Lerman, is a New York teenager who learns that his dad is Poseidon, the Greek god of the sea.
Maybe you're no son of Poseidon. I think I am the son of Poseidon.
Percy, who's been accused of stealing Zeus's lightning bolt, teams up with a feisty demigoddess named Annabeth and a goat guy named Grover. This Hellenic mod squad goes on a road trip that winds through Nashville, Las Vegas, and ends up in the underworld.
I didn't expect you to look like this, man. Kind of stylish. I like it.
Would you prefer that I looked like this?
That's Steve Coogan as Hades. The adult supporting cast also includes Rosario Dawson as Persephone, Pierce Brosnan as a centaur, and Uma Thurman as the fearsome Medusa, with all those snakes coming out of her head. The presence of these actors makes up for the special effects, which might have been state-of-the-art back in, I don't know, 1998 or so. The Lightning Thief probably won't find a lot of grown-up fans on its own, but its mix of mythology, adventure, and pop culture breeziness will be good fun for budding classicists and young action buffs alike. I can relate to both, so I say, see it.
I wish I didn't have to say it. I say, skip it. The book is very big in our household. My son loves the books, and I read the first one, and I can see why it's caught the imagination of so many people. I don't think Chris Columbus is the guy to kind of bring a real sense of cinematic magic to this thing. He directs like a producer. He delivers the story impersonally, neatly, but not with a real,
This is not as good as the best of the Harry Potter movies, the ones that Chris Columbus didn't direct, but I found it really kind of entertaining and just fun. I like these kids. I like the conceit of this, young boy who sort of finds himself caught up in this world of gods warring against each other. I thought it was mischievous and witty and amusing, and I was just sort of drawn into it, and I didn't mind that the special effects weren't so great.
It's not about money.
It was a modest, fun movie.
It's modest. I don't think the limitations are about money. They're just more about imagination. So.
Well, my imagination was tickled by it.
All right.
Coming up next, 2 Oscar winners, Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins, have a complicated father-son relationship in The Wolfman.
And later, it's a showdown in the Best Supporting Actor and Best Actor categories at this year's Academy Awards. And it's your chance to outpick the critics.
There are those who doubt the power to change men into beasts. A beast has come among us.
Terrible things, Lawrence. You've done terrible things.
The new screen version of The Wolfman is a surprisingly good popcorn picture, I think, though a bit of a contradiction. Brooding and beautifully atmospheric on the one hand, extremely violent on the other. Benicio del Toro is Lawrence Talbot. We're in 1890s England, and Talbot is summoned back to the family manor with news of his brother's disappearance and a strange beast afoot. One moonlit night, Talbot's attacked himself, and his father, played by Anthony Hopkins, seems to know more about what's coming in terms of fangs and back hair than he's letting on.
I don't think they'll kill you, Lawrence. But they will blame you. The beast will have its day. The beast will out.
The case is being investigated by the Scotland Yard detective played by Hugo Weaving, whose mutton chops suggest he's ready to go werewolf himself any minute.
I don't suppose we have any silver bullets.
Talbot and his missing brother's fiancée, played by Emily Blunt, start making with the sultry Victorian eyes at each other, but Talbot knows she's not safe with him around.
What are you afraid of?
If anything ever happened to you, I'd never forgive myself.
There's a pleasurably classy look and feel to this Wolfman, and while Hopkins is sort of phoning it in, nobody else is. If you can handle the beheadings and the eviscerations, I say see it.
I say skip it. This picture is a mess, not just because there's intestines and severed heads and arms all over the floor all the time. It's because it can't find the right tone. In the climactic battle of the wolves, which I won't give away too much about, I thought I was watching like a pair of Chewbacca's jumping around in front of a fireplace, and I didn't know if I was supposed to laugh or be horrified or thrilled or what.
All right,
and I think that this is a problem throughout a lot of the movie.
I agree with you on that one scene, but the whole rest of the picture, Tony, I think Johnston, the director, and the actors are actually, in a gory, R-rated way, they're actually recapturing a lot of the atmosphere you get from those old Universal Picture horror films.
Sometimes.
Very well sustained.
Sometimes it does. I think that the look, you're right, the look of the picture, the sort of the spooky Victorian atmosphere with the moon and the woods and the gypsy camp and the streets of London, that works okay. I think there's not enough put in there, and I think that those old horror pictures were made very often on a shoestring, and I think there's commercial pressure when you spend that much money to make it
absolutely
bigger,
commercial,
to make it too big, and the problem is this movie is too big. It should be more intimate, more creepy.
I think the best of it feels like a good, the right kind of B picture, nicely told.
And I didn't think the acting was good enough either.
Okay. Coming up next, George Clooney and Jeff Bridges battle it out for the Best Actor Oscar. See if you can outpick the critics.
And on next week's show, movies from two Oscar-winning directors. Martin Scorsese's Shutter Island, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, and Roman Polanski's The Ghostwriter with Ewan McGregor and Pierce Brosnan.
Do you have something to tell me?
We're counting down to the 82nd Annual Academy Awards. This week, we're predicting who we think Oscar voters will crown in the Best Supporting Actor and Best Actor categories.
We'll start with Best Supporting Actor. The nominees are Matt Damon as the leader of the South African rugby team in Invictus.
This is it! This is our destiny!
Woody Harrelson as a soldier who has to deliver the worst possible news in The Messenger.
Avoid physical contact. In case you feel like offering a hug or something, don't.
Christopher Plummer as the Russian novelist Leo Tolstoy in The Last Station.
I've never stopped loving you.
Of course.
But God knows you don't make it easy.
Stanley Tucci as the serial killer next door in The Lovely Bones.
You're a salmon girl, right? Okay.
And Christoph Waltz as the evil Colonel Landa in Inglourious Bastards.
You're now in the hands of the SS. My hands, to be exact.
Well,
Tony, this is Christoph Waltz's to lose. He will win. I feel that the Academy will, must acknowledge the success of Inglourious Bastards in a couple categories. This is probably the one of the clear slam dunks. Honestly, the Academy will go for this guy.
I think you're right, and I think partly because of something you said about the Best Supporting Actress category with Monique, is that the Academy loves villains in the Supporting Actor and Actress categories.
Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men.
Exactly,
yes.
and I think also Waltz, who's obviously not well known to American audiences, did something kind of remarkable, which he found a new way to do a Nazi. There have been so many evil, sadistic, cowardly, awful Nazis in movies. He was a funny, charming, multilingual, well-spoken, evil, sadistic Nazi.
I still prefer Conrad Veidt in Casablanca as Colonel Strasse, but I think he's a fantastic actor. Quentin Tarantino has been selling the story for months now about how he almost gave up on filming until he found the right actor for this. It just feels like Waltz's year to me. So
okay, me too.
Okay, let's hit Best Actor. The nominees are Jeff Bridges as country singer Bad Blake in Crazy Heart.
When I die, my tombstone will have my real name on it. Until then, I'm just gonna stay bad.
George Clooney is a frequent flyer in Up in the Air.
They pack light, travel efficiently, and they got a thing for slip-on shoes. God love them.
That's racist.
I'm like my mother. I stereotype. It's faster.
Colin Firth as a man trying to move on after the death of his lover in A Single Man.
Looking in the mirror, staring back at me, isn't so much a face as the expression of a predicament.
Morgan Freeman as Nelson Mandela in Invictus.
You elected me your leader. Let me lead you now.
And Jeremy Renner as a bomb disposal specialist in The Hurt Locker.
What are you doing? There's enough bang in there to send us all to Jesus. I'm gonna die. I wanna die comfortable.
Tony, Which way is the Academy going to go on this?
Boy, I like all of these performances a lot. I have to say, it's unusual to see that much good work in one category. I think that the momentum in Jeff Bridges' favor for Crazy Heart is pretty much unstoppable. I think that's going to be the one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. It feels like, for a lot of reasons, he's never won.
Right.
30 years of consistently good work.
Almost 40 if you go back to the last picture show.
Yeah, you want to look at an alternate universe scenario. If George Clooney had not won an Oscar for Syriana, this might be a much tighter race.
It's interesting that you say that, because if we had had this conversation, say, in December, early December, we would have said George Clooney in a walk.
I would not have.
Well, no, but we didn't even know about Crazy Heart then, because Crazy Heart was made by Country Music Television, wasn't released by its parent, was picked up by Fox Searchlight, was supposed to be released in February of this year, was a late entry into the sweepstakes, and all of a sudden just came up out of there. And I think it's going to take Jeff Bridges all the way.
No, look, there's no better loved actor in Hollywood, and he deserves it for this picture.
Absolutely. So. The dude abides. Okay, make sure to go to our website and fill out your own ballot. You could win a 46-inch Sony Bravia HD TV or a Sony Blu-ray disc player and a 25-pack of movies on Blu-ray. You just have to outpick the critics. Go to atthemoviestv.com for a complete list of rules and to see our picks in additional categories.
Coming up next, our picks for Valentine's Day DVDs.
Plus, we'll review an Oscar-nominated film that you won't want to miss.
What do you think? I knew it.
But look, if you could find a little staff, it'd be great for looking after sheep.
Don't be rude.
We're talking about our favorite movies, two of them anyway, for Valentine's Day. That was a scene from my pick, 4 Weddings and a Funeral. Tony, in the last generation of romantic comedies, this is one of the only ones that holds up very, very well, I think.
And I think also it's Hugh Grant at his best, before we got so tired of that shtick that he always does. It was fresh back then.
But the script is great. The script is great.
It's a good one. My Valentine's Day pick, somewhat unusual one maybe, is Wings of Desire.
J'ai attendu une éternité pour que quelqu'un me dise un mot affectueux. Puis je suis partie pour l'étranger. Quelqu'un qui me dirait, je t'aime tant aujourd'hui.
Never associated that film with Valentine's Day.
Well, it's so romantic. It's about this melancholy angel who comes down to earth in the city of Berlin because he falls in love with a trapeze artist. It's also a great time capsule of Berlin when it was still divided by the wall.
Good film. Good film.
Great poetry and black and white cinematography. I love it.
All right, I'll check it out.
Okay.
Again.
One more movie to talk about on this week's show. In the last few years, we've seen a lot of tough, smart, inventive movies coming out of Israel. The latest is Ajami, one of the 5 films competing for the Best Foreign Language Film Oscar. It's a crime story told out of order with a half-dozen plot lines converging around a few acts of violence.
كله بلش قبل 5 جمعة بقهوة عامي بالرملة. واحد بدوي اجى على قهوة مع M16 ضرب الشغيل وطلب منه خاوة. عمي طخه من دون ما يفكر مرتين.
The stories converge in sad and surprising ways, but the strength of this movie, which was shot on real locations with mostly non-professional actors, is in its vivid attention to the details of everyday life on some very mean streets. See it.
Good pick. I say see it too.
Nice movie,
I think aside from its honesty and just a really gripping narrative, this is a film that deals with one of these very tricky, as you pointed out, very tricky narrative structures.
Yeah.
So many pictures you see like that, from the burning plane to Babel to Crash. I just resist because it feels like it's just too fancy for the subject. It all works very well, and it feels like life.
It really feels like life because it's about the connections and relationships between these people that really exist. It reminded me a little bit of the HBO series The Wire, in that it's about cops and drug dealers and criminals, sort of, but not cleanly good guys and bad guys.
Right.
It's about the world that these people inhabit and the ironies and ambiguities of their collisions with each other. Just a really rich sense of life.
Yeah, and the texture of it reminded me of the Italian film Gomorrah, which is another crime. Very good. I'm glad it got a nomination. Coming up next, can't decide what to see in theaters? Stay tuned for my 3 to see.
Now he's looking at me.
Closed captioning for At the Movies is sponsored by Hotel provided by Park Hyatt Chicago, Chicago's award-winning hotel and luxury dining experience, located in the heart of Chicago's Magnificent Mile on Water Tower Square.
Okay, I've got the 3 to see this week, and here they are. At number 3, The Wolfman, director Joe Johnston's surprisingly classy, if relentlessly gory, reboot with Benicio del Toro stepping into Lon Chaney Jr.'s old shoes. Number 2, Temple Grandin, an original HBO movie Tony and I both like a lot. Claire Danes is excellent as the title character. I wish all biopics had this much personality. And number 1, it's Crazy Heart, starring Jeff Bridges in a role he makes his own from the very first moment we see him on screen. Good film.
That's it for now. We'll leave you with a recap of this week's show. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Just go to atthemoviestv.com to find out how.
Join us next week for reviews of Martin Scorsese's Shutter Island and Roman Polanski's The Ghostwriter. And until then, we'll be at the movies.